What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a pre-launch tier list of all the characters. In the final tier list, the brand new 5 that were revealed today are going to be in the category labeled Don't Know, but I will cover where I think they'll ultimately land, what roles they're going to be, just based on what we kind of know from information that's come out. But yeah, the rest of the characters, there's been a lot of, not a lot, but there's been some balance changes since the last beta. So we'll get into where I think that everyone will land. And this tier list is coming from like a semi-casual point of view. So like I'm not like a big super hardcore ranked player. I play quick play mostly, ranked occasionally. So yeah, this will be a somewhat casual tier list. Based on my experience in the open beta, or not the open beta, but the last beta, and what I've seen from the changes that they've made. So let's get into it. So we're going to start out with Adam Warlock. I think Adam Warlock will be probably somewhere between B and A. Pretty solid pick, consistent, good damage. Ultimate's pretty good if used situationally. But definitely can be shut down if you don't know what you're doing. Healing is good, but you know, you kind of have to play around the fact that it's not always there. So you got to know when to use those abilities properly, or you're just going to waste the value. So that's why I think he kind of sits at a B and not quite an A, because although he has good damage and kill potential as a support or strategist, his healing is definitely dependent on the decision making of the player. So yeah, B tier. Okay, so next we have Black Panther. Black Panther will probably be B tier as well. Maybe C tier, honestly, for certain people. I think his skill ceiling is way higher. I think in the right hands he could be A tier. But for most people he'll just be B tier. You know, they'll pop off here or there with a couple of kills from dash resets, but you miss a dash and you're on cooldown again, and you really just can't do anything. So without good support, and possibly without the team up with Magic, I think Black Panther will struggle in certain cases. So yeah, B tier. Okay, next, Doctor Strange. I think Doctor Strange will be A tier. I think Doctor Strange has a lot of things that you want from a Vanguard. He's got large shield. He's got decent damage output. He has some mobility, surprisingly. His ultimate's really good, especially when coordinated even a little bit. So I think he'll be consistent, solid. The teleporter offers a really good utility if you know what you're doing, and if you communicate. So yeah, I think he'll be A tier. Pretty solid pick. Oh, especially, you got something to keep in mind is people underestimate his dark magic expulsion ability. I think that's actually a really good way to finish off kills and to eliminate multiple targets at once, because it's a burst damage just all around you. So people that know how to use that are going to make the best of him, and that's why I think he can be an A tier. Okay, so next is Groot. I'm in between on Groot. I think Groot is okay. I think he's got some interesting mechanics. When I played with Groot in the beta, I didn't really see, because I know he has walls that can attack and he has walls that can heal. I kind of feel like utilizing that properly is it takes some skill, and it takes some setup and some coordination. So for a regular person who doesn't really maybe understand those mechanics, he might seem pretty simple. And so because of that, and the fact that his walls got nerfed and they're a lot easier to break now, I don't think you're going to get the insane utility out of him that maybe you got in the first beta. So I think ultimately he'll end up in a B tier ish. And right hands maybe elevate a little bit, but ultimately probably somewhere in the B tier category. So next up is Hela. I still think Hela's going to be S tier. I even think in a casual sense, like if you have even somewhat decent aim, if you can hit headshots some of the time, like it's just her headshots are just so good, that I think it makes up for anything that might have been lacking. I mean, she's got an okay escape with her dash ability. Her ultimate's pretty decent, honestly. It gives her another health pool. It only takes like 1 or 2 shots per squishy to kill them with the ult. So yeah, I still think Hella's gonna ultimately be S tier. Okay, so Hulk. So Hulk, I think, is overall underrated. I put him in C tier just because I think that's where most people are gonna end up with Hulk. Personally, I'd put Hulk in a high B, maybe A in some cases if you know what you're doing with him. He's got a lot of utility and a lot of, usage that people aren't taking advantage of. Like being able to jump infinitely with his kind of a health pool, I think is crazy. He can get in and out, and if you have like halfway decent support, you should never die, really. Unless you just jump into a horrible situation or get CC'd or hit with an ultimate or something. But I think Hulk is better than people give him credit for. But because it takes knowledge of the character and some skill level, I think for the general audience, he'll end up in a C tier, especially because he does have to get in your face to fight you. He did get a couple of nerfs. Like I know that his stun now works a little bit differently, and you're able to like damage people out of it. But I don't know how far that's going to go for the average player. So yeah, he ends up in C tier for me for now. Okay, so Iron Man, I think Iron Man's definitely going to be A tier for most people. I think casuals are going to really struggle against flyers because they're going to forget about them, or not have the aim to take them down. I think Iron Man's damage output is crazy, especially with the Hulk team up, especially with I think it's Luna or Mantis with Mantis. Maybe it's Luna Snow. Maybe it's both. Honestly, whoever it is that has the damage buff ability, I think when combined with Iron Man, he can go crazy because his damage output is insane. He has good poke from distance. Ultimate is really good team wipe capability. His mobility is decent. Nothing crazy, but I mean it's better than a lot of the characters. Oh, and his overdrive too gives him a damage buff as well. So yeah, I think he's got high potential. In some people's situation, he could drop to a B, but I think for me he's an A. Okay, so next Jeff. Oh, I think Jeff's going to be insane in this version, this launch version of the game. He's gotten buff after buff after buff after buff. I think his healing output is actually pretty good. The bubbles are nice to help keep your backline alive, keep yourself alive. It gives him a speed boost now. He gets a speed boost when he goes underwater and self-healing. His ultimate has good utility if you know what you're doing. I don't think the casuals are going to tap into the highest level that Jeff has to offer, but I think he'll still be a pretty dang good pick. So Jeff for me is A tier. Okay, so Loki. I think Loki's B tier. Loki has gotten some nerfs and some buffs since the original beta. He's kind of gone up and down. I think the biggest thing for Loki is that he kind of relies on proper placement of his clones to get the maximum damage and healing output. Otherwise, he doesn't have the craziest numbers. And so because of that, I think some casuals are going to struggle to not just selfishly use the clones to get in and out of situations, but to actually place them properly to help the team and to help him secure eliminations and keep his team alive. So because of that, I think he'll just end up in the B tier. His ultimate has some really good utility, but again, takes game knowledge to know what you're doing with it. If you copy a character and you don't know what their ult does, you're kind of just out of luck. So I think he'll be B tier. Okay, Luna Snow. I think Luna has a high ceiling, a lot of good stuff in her kit, but I think takes decent aim. And then I also think that the casual players they're just not gonna utilize all these characters properly. I also think that Luna doesn't have crazy escapability. So if you get dove, if you miss your freeze, you don't really have a lot of options. You can give yourself the little booster that she has to upgrade your damage and stuff, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. So I think ultimately for the mass audience, she'll end up in the B tier. Okay, so Magic. I have Magic in the A tier. Magic has self-sustain when dealing damage. Magic has good dive. I think Magic, her ultimate is good as well when used properly. Doesn't take a lot of skill. You just swing your sword around. It's not hard to hit the hits. So I think Magic definitely can sit in a lot of people's A tier. I think you'll see a lot of Magics early until people figure it out. Obviously, the one thing that Magic struggles against is Flyers. Doesn't really have a way to deal with that. So against Flyers, drops way down, closer to C tier, obviously. But against most of the cast, I think Magic is a pretty good option. So A tier. Okay, so Magneto, even with the nerfs, I think Magneto will still end up in A tier. Maybe could slip to B tier, depending. But I think he just has a lot in his kit to offer. He has decent damage output. He has two different defensive options with his own personal shield, which can help allies when properly situated. And he has the bubbles that he can put on his team. So I think, ultimately he'll end up somewhere in the A tier. I think even with the nerfs, his team up with Scarlet Witch will still be good. His ultimate's underutilized, a little slept on. The aim, you got to hit the shot, which, for some people is difficult, but it can score eliminations. You could take out a squishy in the back line. I think the part of it that's really good, though, is the fact that it absorbs projectiles. So being used as a defensive ultimate. I know it's counterintuitive to what it does, but people don't use it that way enough, I think. So I think he could be A tier. Okay. Next up is Mantis. I think Mantis will be S tier because Mantis has good healing output, can buff herself, can buff teammates, has a sleep that isn't even a skill shot. I mean, it's kind of a skill shot, but I mean, it's got a pretty big effect radius. She has natural increased speed. Her ultimate's really, really good. So yeah, I think probably one of the best, if not the best, support in the game. Obviously, is my top support that I've got in the game, but opinions might differ. But yeah, I think S tier for sure for me. Okay, so Namor's next. People are sleeping on this character. He's going to be really good. He got more buffs. His turrets are really good at helping him in the back line. He can dink headshots on the same level basically as Hela. He's got a escape option with his bubble. His ultimate is okay. It's not the best, but I think overall he can be really good. I think what people don't like, or the reason people sleep on him, is because they play him and his kit's pretty basic, so they think he's not that good. But no, he's really underestimated for sure. I think he'll be A tier. So don't sleep on Namor. Okay, next, Penny Parker. Penny Parker got some buffs. We have yet to see what those exactly do. I know there's some level of healing involved, I think. Self-healing. Maybe even team healing. I don't remember for sure. But we'll see. I could be wrong about that. But I still think Penny will end up in B. Maybe C for some people, but B tier, I think. The mines are really good when properly utilized. Her mine field with the small mines are decent. Her damage output is actually not too bad since they've increased the fire rate. Her ability to stun like every 4 seconds is crazy and really good when utilized consistently. So yeah, I really like that. You can cancel a lot of ults with her stun, so it's nice. So yeah, B tier. Okay, Punisher, S tier. This character is going to be insane still. Didn't get a lot of nerfs. Ultimate is insanely powerful. Has a decent health pool. 2 main weapon options with the shotgun that's really powerful up close, and the assault rifle that's good from a distance. Yeah, I think he's just good. I think also once people get used to how his grapple works, they'll utilize it more properly and get a lot more utility out of it and get high ground. So yeah, I think he's definitely going to be S tier. Really powerful. Okay, so Rocket. I've got Rocket in A tier. I think Rocket's the most consistent of all the supports because Rocket has decent damage output, good mobility, can respawn a character with his respawn beacon. Healing doesn't really need to aim, can spam it through the team, heal multiple people at once. I think he's just going to be the most consistent. I think you're going to see a lot of Rocket players in the strategist role just because you can get your value pretty easily. He's a small hitbox too, hard to hit. So yeah, I think Rocket's going to be good, A tier. Okay, Scarlet Witch. I think Scarlet Witch will still be A tier. Doesn't, low skill, entry level. You don't have to aim that much. And all things considered, the damage output is actually decent on this character. On top of the fact that you do have a skill shot aim, secondary fire if you want to use it. That can help cap off people that get a little bit out of your primary fire range. The fact that she has 2 different escape options with her ghost little bubble orb form is really good as well. Her stun is actually decent, and her ultimate is obviously really good when used properly. Obviously, it's easy to shut down, and it's very telegraphed. But good Scarlet Witch players are going to be really hard to deal with. So I think A tier for Scarlet Witch. Okay, so Spider-Man, as much as it sucks, I think Spider-Man's still going to be C tier. Way high skill ceiling. I think you need to know what you're doing with this character. If you don't, you get just absolutely rolled. I think a lot of casuals are not going to turn off the auto swing, and they're going to just be struggling to get away because they're gripping onto random things with a web and slamming into walls. So yeah, I think C tier for the mass audience. If you don't know the one-shot combos, you're just not going to be able to do enough with Spider-Man, so C tier. Okay, so next up, Star-Lord, S tier. Star-Lord is really good, has good mobility, he can move around quickly, has a really good ultimate, damage output is decent. I think he's going to be a really casual, friendly character because he's easy to learn, he's not hard to pick up. So I think he'll ultimately be S tier just because he does have really good damage and his ultimate's really good. And with certain characters teaming up with him when he gets any kind of damage or movement buff, I think he'll be really, really formidable. He can dive, he can play with the team, he can do a lot of things. Very versatile. So yeah, S tier. Okay, Storm. I have Storm in B tier. I think Storm's got higher potential. I just don't know right now. She's a kind of slow flyer with not like a ton of quick mobility options. So if she gets caught out in the open while flying, it's I don't think it's that hard to hit her. But she offers a lot of utility. She can damage boost the team. She can speed boost. I think her ultimate's pretty dang good. Good Storm players will definitely be good, but I think the low end will bring down the overall ranking of the character to somewhere in B. Okay, so Thor. Thor is kind of in a similar situation in the fact that I think the low end players of Thor are going to bring his overall ranking down a lot because he takes coordination. You kind of need to know how you're rotating your cooldowns and keeping your Thor force up in order to activate your super lightning god form. I can't remember what it's called, but that's kind of what you want to play around entirely with this character. And so if you're not properly rotating your cooldowns and using your Thor force properly, you're going to get caught out a lot of times. And he actually has some of the lowest base health for the Vanguards, which to me is a little bit insane. But yeah, so I think he'll be C tier. I hope he gets a couple of changes. I don't think he's bad. I just think he's a little bit too complicated for a lot of people. So yeah. Okay, Venom. Venom got nerfed. So from what I understand, his overhealth doesn't like double his health like it did before. It basically maxes out at your original max health. So like if you were at 900 max health originally, I don't know the numbers exactly, but and you get down to like 20 and you use the ability, you go back to 900 overhealth. And obviously that goes away slowly over time. So I think he's going to be a lot less tanky, and he won't be able to easily dive back lines as much anymore and just survive without consequence. So I think good Venom players will still be good. That's why I kept him in A tier. And I think he does, he's just he'll be a good character, but definitely not as much of a monster as before. He could slip into B tier for some people. So, but yeah, that's Venom A tier for now. Captain America. I think Captain America is okay. He has a really good ult, and he can be really good. Like he definitely takes skill though. You have to know what you're doing. You have to understand the kit. I think people are gonna struggle utilizing his kit properly. They're gonna want to just run in and go beat something up. But you have to really know how to get in and get out properly. And if you don't have a support that can help you when you do need to get out, or if you get into a situation, I think you can get picked off. High potential though. He could be way higher, but for me for now, B tier. Okay, Winter Soldier, Bucky. I think Bucky is going to be A tier. I think Bucky's ultimate is really good, with the right usage. If you hit your ultimates, you're going to be getting a lot of value. I know he's got like a weird, only 2 ammo, but his damage is like pretty decent. And if you can hit your shots, like his potential is very high. We'll see with the casuals. I know this is supposed to be like a broad appeal tier list. so that he could actually be, more of a B tier. But for me personally, I think he's just got his damage output is just so good, that I think once people get warmed up to how he plays, he'll start to be pretty dang good. Okay, so Moon Knight. No one's really gotten a chance to play as Moon Knight, but I think Moon Knight has, from what I've seen of his kit, he looks like he's going to be pretty dang good. I'm going to estimate him being an A tier. And I say that because some of his stuff doesn't require you to aim that well. You place your Ankh down, hit the Ankh, and you're bouncing, off of multiple different targets doing damage. So he's going to absolutely shred clumped up teams. He has a lot in his kit. He has a grappling hook, he has a glide, he has the Ankh, he has the boomerangs, he's got the other one that like instantly bounces off people. He's just got so much. His ultimate doesn't look too bad either when used in conjunction with some other ults. Like Groot ult plus Moon Knight ult is going to be like instant death for the whole team. So yeah, I think he'll have a high ceiling, so A tier. So Psylocke is next. I think Psylocke is also going to be A tier. I think Psylocke's invisibility looks really good. It's quick. It doesn't have like a huge startup, so you're almost instantly invisible. You can get out of situations quickly. The dash looks really good. The ultimate looks really good to take out backline squishies. I do think there will be a higher skill ceiling for this character just because of the way that they play than maybe like, Moon Knight. But I do still think that you're going to see a lot of really good Psylocke players, so A tier. Okay, Hawkeye. I put Hawkeye in B tier. I think Hawkeye's potential is really, really high. And the best Hawkeye players are going to be difficult to deal with. But I think ultimately he'll be B tier just because I don't think that his shots are going to be super easy to land. But he's not like completely useless if he gets dove. He does have a get off me option. He has his bomb arrows that can has a decent spread, so you can deal with dive characters. So yeah, I think he'll be B tier. He on the high end he could be A tier. On the low end, I don't think he goes lower than B though. So because he just looks like he has really good damage. So that's Hawkeye, B tier. Okay, so now we're getting into the characters that we haven't actually seen really much of at all. Starting with Wolverine. I think Wolverine's going to be a Vanguard, and I think he's going to have some kind of a berserker self-healing, dive style of play. If his damage is as good as it seems like it might be, with him being more of like an off dive tank aggressive play style, I think a lot of people are going to love his play style, and I think he could actually be really good, especially if he has some kind of quick self heal that like regenerates rapidly. So I think obviously we don't know. I can't really place him on a tier list, but I anticipate he could be pretty good if it looks like what it's shaping up to be. Okay, so Squirrel Girl. I've seen some information about this character and what their kit might be, with a little like Junkrat-esque vibes to their primary fire. And if that's the case, from a casual perspective, I think Squirrel Girl is going to be pretty dang good, honestly. I think Squirrel Girl, with the right kit, if she does have like explosive, acorn shots or whatever, and they bounce, it's going to be, I think it's going to be really fun. I think a lot of people are going to like Squirrel Girl. Plus, it's a silly character. It's going to be fun. I've heard that the ultimate is like a swarm of squirrels that attack and like run all over the battlefield, which will be so cool to look at. I don't know where Squirrel Girl's going to end up in a tier list, but yeah. So next we have Iron Fist. I know literally nothing about this character in the game. I'm so hyped to play this character though. This was like one of my most wanted when I heard about this game. I love Iron Fist. Even the Lin Lie Iron Fist, people sleep on that character. I don't know how I'm going to get blasted for this, but I don't get the obsession with Danny Rand. Like, he's cool or whatever, but like Lin Lie looks awesome, and his story was cool as well. Even from Swordmaster to Iron Fist, I think he's cool, and I like the idea of the Iron Fist being a mantle that can change, and Danny Rand being a mentor figure to a multitude of Iron Fists. So I don't know. I like this character. I'm really excited to play him. I hope he's cool. I'm assuming he's going to be a duelist, so I'm excited to play him. Okay, so Black Widow. Oh, please, 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 please don't let this be a problematic sniper. Oh my god, I'm going to be so annoyed if we have a Widowmaker in this game. But I am excited to play this character. I hope that she's good. I hope her sniper isn't annoying. But yeah, definitely going to be a sniper character. Not necessarily my cup of tea. I'm not a huge sniper fan, but I will check her out. I am excited for the character because I like Black Widow as a character. So yeah, it looks cool. And then Cloak and Dagger. I feel like decent amount of information has come out about this character. I'm pretty sure they're going to be a strategist, with Dagger being the sort of healing and Cloak being sort of utility, and they'll switch in and out. Same character, like they're one person. You play as both people. They look really cool. I think their design is awesome. I love that Marvel Rivals isn't afraid to pull from sort of the niche characters of Marvel, like Squirrel Girl and Cloak and Dagger, and Jeff the Land Shark and things like that. I'm looking forward to more picks like that in the future, so it's not just the same 10 Marvel characters that you see every time. I mean, they look cool. I don't know anything about their kit other than the fact that I'm pretty sure they're strategists, so we'll have to see how they play, but I'm excited to try them. But yeah, so that's my tier list. Can't wait for this game to come out. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things. Be on the lookout for streams that I post here, because I'll be streaming with my friend Master Keys. When the game comes out, we're doing a 24-hour stream. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. So come check it out. We'll be on Twitch at Master Keys, MasterKeys. So yeah, come check it out. Thanks for watching the tier list video.